Um, I know some of you are still setting up, but if you want to go ahead and get into a comfortable seat, I'm going to sit on my blanket. Also, it's like 80 degrees outside today, and I don't know what it's like in your apartment, but I have my water bottle nearby. So, drink a lot of water after class and stop and drink it during class if you get hot. That way you don't get dehydrated. That is not good for you. So just remember to drink your water. All right. Come to a comfortable seat. You can place your hands on your knees. Find a long spine. And then shut your eyes. Start to breathe in and out slowly, slower than your normal breath. And as you lengthen your inhale and your exhale, I invite you to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Unless your sinuses prevent you from doing so, that's totally fine. And as you do that, take a moment to notice how your body feels. How do your knees and your shins and your feet feel on the ground? Is the ground warm or cold? What is the texture of your mat beneath your feet? Notice your hips. Notice the weight of your body pulling towards the ground and the stability of the ground beneath you. Feel your stomach inflate and deflate as you breathe. Notice if you have any tension in your lower back. Take a moment to bring your awareness to your fingertips, noticing your knees beneath your hands, the feeling of the air on your forearms, on your shoulders, and your upper arms. See if your arms feel tense or relaxed. Notice the air entering and exiting your nose. Coming in through your nose and out through your mouth. Feel your eyelids as they're shut. Do they feel a little warm against your eyes? And then bring your awareness to the top of your head, to your brain, to the seat of your thoughts. Does your head feel warm or cool? Can you feel your hair? Do you feel nothing at all? You're like, this is weird. That's totally fine. Just notice that. And then take one really deep inhale all the way up. Hold your breath at the top. And then exhale. Flutter your eyes open. Reach your arms up overhead. Stretch. Let your shoulders come high. Look up at your hands. And then exhale, twist to your left. Drop your hand behind you. Inhale to straighten your spine. Exhale to twist further. Inhale, both of your arms up overhead. And this time, bend to your left, dropping one arm down to your side and stretch open your right side body. Inhale, reach both of your arms long. Twist to the right, dropping your right arm behind you. Take one more breath here. Then inhale your arms up overhead. Exhale, drop your right arm down to the side and reach over your head, opening up your right side body. Interlace your hands, roll out your wrists in one direction, and then the other. Flip your grip. Reach your arms overhead. And then while you're overhead, start to flick water off your fingers, bringing your hands to a fist, and then opening them up energetically, opening and closing your hands pretty quickly. You should start to feel this in your forearms. We're just warming up our wrists. And then slowly lower your arms, maybe to a 45-degree angle, and then right in front of you, continuing this motion. Maybe 2 more breaths. And then drop your arms, shake it out. Plant your palms in front of you, bring your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. If you have problems with your knees, you can pad your knees with a blanket or a towel. And then inhale, drop your belly, look up, roll your shoulders back, cow pose. Exhale, curve the spine, look down, pull your belly button up, cat pose. Inhale, drop your belly, look up, cow pose. You can tuck your toes to bring yourself some ankle stability. And then on an exhale, curve your spine, look down, cat pose. Keep going for maybe 3 more rounds. And if you want, you can roll your spine in other ways, rolling your hips open, looking left and right, whatever feels good to you. Explore the shape, explore your body. I always feel like yoga is a little bit like being in a preschool dance class again. You can just do goofy shit, or like acting camp. And then plug your hands into the mat. Plug your knuckles into the mat. Grip your fingers. Tuck your toes. We're going to lift your knees an inch off the ground. Hold here for a second. And then send your hips high. Straighten out your arms and come into your first down dog of class, Adho Mukha Svanasana. From here, you can bend one leg and then the other, walking out your dog, exploring how your hips feel. You can walk your feet a little wider. That should give you some relief in your hamstrings while still allowing you to stretch them. Or you can micro bend your knees to find a long back. Or you can bend your knees a lot. Just explore the shape. But it's more important to have your back and your hips in line with your arms than to have your legs straight. So see if you can find a version of this that works for you. And then as you push into your fingers, wrap your upper arms in toward your face. Push your arms further away. And then on an inhale, rock forward into plank. Hold here. Lifting up your hips if they're sinking low. Activating your stomach and your ab muscles, keeping your neck long. And then exhale, push back up into downward facing dog. Inhale, take your right leg high. Exhale, bend your knee towards your chest or your nose. Lifting up your back like when we were in cat pose, really curling it. Inhale, send your right leg high. Exhale, right knee to left elbow. Push up a little higher. Inhale your right leg high. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. Inhale your right leg high. Exhale, drop it back down. Roll forward into plank pose. Lower your arms, lower yourself all the way to the ground. Walk your arms forward with your elbows under your shoulders. Push into the ground, Sphinx pose. Take a small back bend here. Walk your hands back, push up into plank, and then back into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Lift your left leg high. Exhale, knee to nose or chest. Lift your left leg high. Exhale, knee to right elbow. So you're in a big diagonal, working your obliques. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. Inhale your left leg high. Exhale, drop it down. Lift up your heels. Drop your heels to the right. Shift yourself forward towards your right hand, and then lift up your left hand into side plank Vasisthasana. You can stack your feet for more of a challenge. If this is really hard for you, you can take your top leg forward to sort of like a tripod or kickstand kind of position. And if it's easy for you, you can see if you can lift your left leg off of your right leg and come to kind of a starfish pose. And then come back into plank. Shift forward, lower all the way down, and then lift up just through your chest, and then start to push into your hands, pulling your shoulders back, looking forward, baby cobra. Exhale, lower your head to the ground. Push back into child's pose, taking your knees wide, sitting your hips between your heels, and rest your forehead on the ground. Take a few breaths here. This is our resting pose. You can take child's pose anytime during class. Taking care of yourself and putting your ego aside is just as important in yoga as developing the fire and pushing yourself to work harder. So just be honest with yourself when you need a break. There's no shame. Also drink water when you're in your break. And then when you're ready, come back forward into plank. So shift yourself forward to the table, tuck your toes, push up into plank, push back into down dog, lift up on your heels, drop your heels to the left, shift forward onto your hands, and then put your weight onto your left hand and reach up into Vasisthasana side plank on your left side. Take any variation you like. See if you can lift your hips up a little higher. And then lower your hand, shift back into plank, shift forward, lower all the way down to the ground. Untuck your toes. Really plant your toes into the ground. Push up your arms straight, look up, and then lift your knees off the ground. Straightening your legs, look forward, roll your shoulders back, upward facing dog. Flip over your toes. Send your hips high, downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg high. Exhale, step it forward between your hands. Drop your left knee down. Inhale, lift up into low lunge. Activate your hips. Activate your abs. Maybe activate your hips. Just engage all your muscles. And then inhale, send your left arm back and your right arm forward into an open twist. On an inhale, reach your arms back up overhead. Exhale, plant your palms, tuck your toes, lift your back leg off the ground. Plant your left hand onto the mat or a block, and then lift your right arm up into a twist. Lift your left hip a little bit higher so it's even with your right. And then plant your hands on either side of your front foot and step your back foot forward to meet your front. Exhale, forward fold. Now your feet can be together here, but if they're together, take your heels a little bit apart so that the outsides of your feet are parallel to the outsides of your mat. Shift forward towards your toes, and then fold forward from your hips. You can take a micro bend in your knees here to release your low back. Inhale, straighten your legs, straighten your back, long spine from your tailbone to the top of your head. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up, look up overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Close your eyes. Take a moment to set an intention for this class. It can be for yourself or someone else, whatever comes first to mind. And then inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your palms. Step your left foot back. Nope. Step your left foot back to the front of the mat. Step your right foot back. Lower your right knee down. Lift up, Anjaneyasana, low lunge on the other side. Take a moment to engage your lower abs, knit your upper ribs in. I don't know really what that means, but just imagine that your two upper ribs, if they're flaring out, just pull towards each other. And that'll get your muscles engaging in the right way. Lift your arms up overhead. Send your right arm back and your left arm forward. Look to the side, open twist. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. Exhale, plant your palms. Lift your back knee off the ground. Pack knee. And then take your right hand and plant it into the mat or a prop, like a block or a soup can or whatever you have. And then lift your left arm up high. Crescent lunge twist. Take a moment to lift your right hip a little higher. And then exhale, plant your palms. And then step your front foot to the back of your mat. And step into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees, look forward between your thumbs, and then step or hop to the front of the mat and forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep your arms up overhead, look up. Exhale, hands to heart center, Samastitihi. Return to your intention. And then forward fold. Plant your palms. Step back into plank. You can lower your knees if you want, and then lower halfway down, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg high. Exhale, step your foot forward between your hands. Lower your back heel down. And lift up into warrior two. Take a moment to push into the outer edge of your back foot. Activate your left glute. Make sure your knee is pointed over your front toes. And then flip your right palm to face the ceiling and reverse your warrior, lifting up, 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 and back. Exhale, return to warrior two. And then take a breath here. And then exhale, take your right arm to your right thigh. Lift your left arm up overhead. Utthita Parsva Konasana, side angle. I'm practicing my Sanskrit on you guys. And then if you like, you can lower your right arm to the floor or a block or tent up on your fingertips, keeping your torso lifted and your chest opening toward the side of the room. If you want, you can half bind or full bind if that's in your practice. Push through your legs so you're not sinking into this position. And then inhale, lift back up to warrior two. Take your hands to heart center. Straighten your right leg, straighten your front leg, and then start to bend your left leg, lifting your right leg off the floor, and then come down to a low squat on one side. This is Skadasana, or I've read it called ninja pose, which is kind of cute. So if you have a lot of flexibility, you might be really low to the ground. And if you don't, you might be up higher, and it's more of a strengthening pose. Both are fine. You can have your arms out in front of you for stability. And then walk your hands to the front of your mat and switch feet. So now that you're bending towards your right foot and lifting your left foot up, finding whatever variation works for you here. And if you have a lot of flexibility like me, try not to just hang out and rest in this pose. So right now I'm going to re-engage both of my legs and lift up a little higher. So it's more of a strengthening pose, and I'm adding a different challenge for myself. And then walk your hands to center, push both feet down. And we should be in a wide-legged forward fold at this point. You can take your hands to the ground, shift yourself forward in space so that your hips are sort of over the line where both of your feet are. And then exhale, fold from your hips, and then curve your upper back and relax your head toward the ground. You can shut your eyes, relax your forehead, breathe here. And work on strengthening and finding ease at the same time. So my upper body is relaxing while my lower body is working hard and stretching. You can bring your hands to your hips and then slowly come on up to standing. And then we're going to come into warrior two on the opposite side that we just did. So I'm bending my left knee, my right leg is straight. And then the heel of my left foot sort of bisects the arch of my right foot if I were to draw a line. So that's where my feet are. I'm pushing really hard into the outer edge of the foot of my straight leg of my right foot. I'm engaging my right glute, which takes some pressure off of this knee so I'm not dumping all my weight into my bent knee. Lifting up through the chest. Taking one more breath here before flipping my left hand to face the ceiling and then reversing my warrior. Up, up, up and back. Long side body stretch. And then come back up into warrior two. And on an exhale, take your left arm to your left thigh and lift your right arm up overhead, letting your bicep come near your ear, one long line of energy from your right foot to your right fingertips. And if you want to take it deeper, you can lower your left arm to the ground or a block or tent up on your fingertips. Keep pushing through your legs. Lift energetically through your torso. You can half bind your lifted arm. You can come into full bind if that's in your practice. But if you do so, don't let your chest collapse. So it's not worth it if you're like kind of like this. You want to be lifted up like this. And then return to warrior two. Shift your feet so they're both facing the side of your mat. And then shift your right foot back to the front of your mat. Cartwheel your hands down, come into plank. Move through your flow. And then after you come through down dog, you can take your knees down, come into child's pose, rest here, take a few deep breaths, or take a little water break because it's 80 degrees outside. When you're ready, come back into downward facing dog. Lift your right leg high, step it forward towards the front of the mat, drop your left heel down and lift up into warrior one. Take a moment to walk your right foot a little bit wider, giving yourself more space for your hips, especially if you have wider set hips. Inhale, lift up, knit your upper ribs together. Exhale, bring your arms behind you, interlace your fingers, straighten your arms, and fold forward, bringing your right shoulder inside your right knee, dropping your head, letting your head rest. Humble warrior. Drop your arms to frame your front foot. Straighten your front leg. You can hop your back foot in like 1 foot length. Inhale, hands on your hips, lift up slightly. Exhale, fold forward over your front knee, pyramid pose. You might need blocks here, or you can tent up on your fingertips, or you can just sort of keep your back long and reach towards the ground if the ground feels really far away. And then take a moment to shift your left hip forward in space and your right hip back in space so they're a little more even. And then fold forward. And if you have a block, put it next to your front foot. You can put your left hand on the block and then lift up your right arm, similar to when we do that twist and crescent lunge. And you can see my arm doesn't get up all the way. I'm keeping my arm in line with my shoulders and opening my side body. That's okay. Just go as far as you can and meet yourself where you are today. And then drop your arm back down to frame your front foot and start to bring your weight forward onto your right foot. Lift your left leg off the ground and come into standing splits. So my hands are on the ground, my left leg is high, and my left hip is dropping down. So I'm lifting from the inside of my left leg. And then exhale, bend your front leg, bend your back leg, and just sort of curl it. Curl your upper back like when you're in cat. And you're sort of hovering here. And then inhale, straighten both legs, lean forward, standing splits. Exhale, curl your back knee towards your right knee. Look forward. Inhale, straighten both legs, lean forward. I'm really relying on my hands here for balance, but also on my standing leg for strength. And then inhale, bend both knees, tuck your back knee behind your right knee, look up, engage your abs, and then lower your right knee to the ground and sit back. And you should be in some version of Matsyendrasana. So my left knee is bent, my right knee is bent over it, and if that's feeling really confusing or difficult, just straighten your left leg out in front of you, and then my right foot is on the other side of my left knee. Lift your arms up high. Exhale, turn to the right. Wrap your arm around your knee and twist. I apologize. My neighbors are vacuuming the hallway. I don't know if you can hear that. I'm really sorry. And then lift your arms up overhead. Counter twist, putting your arms flat on the other side, bending towards the left. Coming onto your heels. Coming onto tabletop, planting your hands. Tucking your toes, stepping up into downward facing dog. On an inhale, lift your left leg high. Exhale, step it forward between your hands. Drop your right heel, lift up into warrior one on the other side. Take a moment to walk your left foot a little bit wider, especially if you have a wider pelvis anatomically. Knit your upper ribs together. Look up from your upper chest and upper back. And then exhale. Interlace your fingers the weird way behind your back. Straighten your arms. And then lean forward with your left shoulder trying to get inside your left knee. Drop your head, humble warrior. And if this feels really hard, you can always walk your back foot in a little bit, giving yourself a shorter stance. You can sort of lift up through your hips so you're not bending as far. Notice if this side feels different than the other side. And then bring your hands forward to frame your front foot. Walk your hands forward a little bit and come to standing splits on your left foot, lifting your right foot up. You can use blocks here or tent up onto your fingertips. You can walk your arms forward for more stability. Your back leg doesn't need to be up very high, it just needs to be reaching. Just meet your body where it is today. Whatever you're doing is good enough. And then on an exhale, bend your left knee, bend your right knee, and bring it forward so it comes behind your left knee. Look up. Inhale, straighten both legs. Exhale, bend your standing leg, bend your lifted leg, bring it forward. Curl your abdomen, look forward. Exhale, drop your head down, straighten both legs. One more. Bend both knees, bring your lifted knee behind your standing knee. Activate your abs, look forward. And then you can drop your lifted knee to the ground outside of your ankle and sit back. You can stay here, or you can straighten your lower leg, your right leg. Lift up and take your left arm back and wrap your right arm around your knee, twisting to the left. If you want to take the twist deeper, you can take your elbow inside your knee. So really, obviously, because your chest fills up with air when you breathe, it's easier to deepen your twist on the exhale because you have more space. And then lift both arms up overhead, drop them to the right, counter twist. Bring both of your feet forward. And if you have had trouble with forward folds in the past, I recommend sitting up on a blanket or a towel or a block to really help your hips have more room to rotate. Reach your arms up overhead, and then exhale, fold forward over your feet. And this is a really great place for a strap or a t-shirt or a scarf or whatever you're using. You can also just put your hands on your mat or grab your ankles or your pants, leggings, whatever these are called. And then walk yourself back up. Take your feet wide. Your toes are still pointing up at the ceiling. Your legs are flexed. You can bend your knees if you need to. Lift up overhead. Put your hands on the ground in front of you and walk yourself forward. Rolling over your hip bones like they're little wheels on the bottom of a skateboard or something. So I'm really rolling for my hips. I'm not bending for my low back. My low back is pretty flat. Oh no, I think we skipped twisted pyramid on one side. Sorry. Are you guys okay with that? Should we go back and do it? Nah. Alright. I got one no and two I don't know, so we're gonna skip it. And then walk back up. You can bring your legs together. Roll onto your back. I'm pretty distracted by this vacuuming, sorry. Take your legs up overhead. Take your palms together. And then just do little crunches, trying to get your fingertips to go past your toes. And then to the right, working your obliques. And then twist to the left. And then roll back. You can drop your knees together, reach your arms back overhead, interlace your thumbs, reach, reach, reach. You can bring your knees to your chest, give yourself a hug. Roll back and forth, massaging your low back. And then interlace your hands behind your head. Take your right foot over your left foot, like your right ankle over your left ankle. Reach your feet out long, but keep your low back on the ground. So you might be all the way down here near the ground, or you might be up pretty high, but the moment your low back comes off the ground, stop and back up a little bit. And then on an exhale, bend your knees, bring your elbows to your knees, crunch like a weird little bug. And then inhale, straighten your legs out long, drop your head towards the ground. Exhale, crunch with your knees to your elbows. Inhale, straighten your legs out long. Exhale, crunch with your knees to your elbows. And this time, keep your left knee here. Keep your right knee here, your top leg. Straighten your left leg, and then bend your left elbow to your right knee, so you're doing a bicycle crunch on one side. And then switch legs, bicycle crunch on the other side. And then switch. And then bring your left ankle on top of your right ankle. Do one more bug crunch. Straighten out your legs. Exhale, bug crunch. Inhale, straighten your legs. Exhale, bug crunch. Inhale, drop everything to the ground and relax. Reach your arms up overhead, interlacing your thumbs. Take your feet to the ground and take your right ankle over your left knee. Sit up a little bit, reach your hands forward and wrap them around your knees so it's like you're making a figure four on your back. And pull your legs towards you, pushing your right knee out, opening up your hip. You can sort of rock gently back and forth. It makes being in this position more tolerable for you. And if you feel like any pain, you should back out of it. But if you feel discomfort, just sort of explore that feeling. Notice it. And then drop your left foot down and then drop your right foot to the left. So you're sort of doing a twist. Take your arms out to a T or sort of a cactus shape depending on how much space you have, and look over your right arm. You can take your left arm to your right leg and sort of push your hip open a little more. And then unwind, bring your legs back to center, and then fully cross your legs so that your right knee is on top of your left knee. And see if you can reach forward for your ankles or your feet. And so we're sort of doing a reclined cow face pose, Supta Gomukha Svanasana. And then unwind your legs. You can windshield wiper your knees back and forth. And then take your left ankle outside your right thigh. Lift your legs up. Reach forward so you're wrapping around your thigh with your hands. You can lift your head off the ground if you like to make it more of an active position. And you're energetically opening your left leg, resisting your legs with each other, I guess. Again, you can sort of sway back and forth. It makes being in this position more interesting. That's fine. And then drop your right foot to the ground and drop your left foot to the right. Lean back, bring your arms out to a big T on the ground, and then look over to your left, over your shoulder. See if you can drop your left shoulder to the ground. You can take your right hand and push it against your left thigh, kind of opening it up a little more. And then bring your legs back to center. And stack your knees on top of each other, and then reach for your ankles or your feet. And see if you can use your hands to resist your feet. You could rock back and forth here. Supta Gomukhs Svanasana. Reclined cow face pose. And then let it go. And I'm going to set us up for uh, Supta Baddha Konasana, or reclined butterfly pose, or queen's pose. So just sort of assess what props you have in the room. If you don't have any props, what you can do is you can just lay down on your mat, put your feet together, and then let your knees fall to the side. If you have a blanket, you can roll your blanket and lean back on the blanket, or you can stack a few blankets. If you have pillows, if you have a bed, you can just stack all your pillows onto an incline and get on your bed and lean back on those pillows. So this is my blanket version. If you have a couch, you can take your couch cushions and lean them on the ground against the couch. But basically, you're making a ramp. I'm going to make my ramp with yoga props, but you can make a ramp with anything. So normally, if you have yoga props at home, since I'm putting this on YouTube as well, you have one block low, one block high, and then a bolster leaning against them. But just make a comfy ramp with whatever you have. It can be your bed. And then lean back, taking about a fist distance between the bottom of your ramp and your butt. And if you have even more comfy things, you can like take your comforter or your towels or blocks and put them underneath each of your knees. And then lay back. If you want to get really comfy, you can put an eye pillow on your face. You can take your arms out to the side. And just breathe deeply, noticing how your body feels, soaking in all the hard work we just did on this very hot San Francisco day. And then focus your mind on your breath, noticing it coming in and out of your body. And then just watch your breath. And if other thoughts or sensations come up, you can notice those too. Just acknowledge them and then let them go. And then start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. You can bring your legs back together. You can use your arms to do that if you want to be super gentle with yourself. Take one hand behind your head, roll over onto that side, and slowly push yourself up into a seated position, keeping your gaze soft or your eyes closed. And then rub your hands together really vigorously. And then put them over your eyes. And rub your fingers together really vigorously. And then bring your hands to your shoulders and just give yourself a little shoulder rub. You can move down your arms. And rub your hands together. And bring them to your legs and give your muscles a little squeeze. And then bring your hands back together at heart center. Thank you for practicing with me today. Thank yourselves for showing up. I'm so grateful to all of you. Namaste. Yeah. So if you didn't try it with props, I encourage you to try restorative yoga with props later tonight or over the weekend, just as a way to like de-stress. We all have like so much like, you know, coming at us right now, and just like give your nervous systems like a reset, and then take a bubble bath. So that was my Friday gift to you, is just like a really long shavasana and restorative pose. Cool. Thanks. Bye, y'all.